Do your thing. So, hey, everybody, this is Seth. I'm recording. I think I did a scheduling mix-up. I'm really sorry about that because we are here with a wizard of crowdfunding. In fact, I was going to call you the goddess or the princess. Now you're wearing a tiara, so that would be more fitting. I think if you had a wizard cap, that would also work, because crowdfunding is like a magical thing. It's like, I think for artists and musicians, it's like the biz-op of that world, because artists and musicians don't really necessarily, they're not like out there trying to figure out how to make my business work. They're trying to figure out, how do I get people to support my art and my film? And to my knowledge, you've had, I think, 10 successful crowdfunding campaigns.
I've had my own, successful crowdfunding campaigns, and I've also helped others have successful ones. My students, I've consulted. So yeah, I've kind of lost track of the number. But even right now, campaigns are going on that my students are running or just completed that have been successful. So
that's amazing. Can you give us an example of some of the projects maybe that your students have done?
Yeah, I'm super happy about recently, Randall Kaplan. He did a Kickstarter for his dark animation called Boxhead. And literally I had a 1 to 2 hour consultation with him. He took my class, he applied what I taught him, and he ended up raising $30,223 from 303 backers. With basic.
Wait, how much?
Like $30,000 from about 300 backers.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I will put the link. That's and he's still getting press now. So he just got a Norwegian press. One of the tips that I give that he especially applied was to go out and get press, podcasts, blogs, that are very specific to your niche. So since he was doing a horror film that was also animation, that's one of the tips I gave him. Also, I told him, since he was in Los Angeles, to go to a convention called Monsterpalooza, which is a horror convention that everybody in special effects who are into all these sorts of genre films go to, and start collecting email addresses and just go up to people, say what you're doing, share your goal, and say, hey, do you want to find out when I launch? And people did. And then he took a booth at another horror convention called Days of the Dead, which was also in Los Angeles. And he showed his trailer on a loop and had people sign up, and he sold posters. So he, usually break even. When you take a booth, you have to pay to take a booth, but you sell some things, you break even, and you collect leads. And those leads then donate to the campaign because they feel and they're interested. They're the exact target audience that you're reaching.
Right, absolutely. That is definitely a hustle to physically go there, but that is very, very wise advice. For anybody.
And it was really just the repeat of what I've done in the past, because I started selling my short films at conventions, and they weren't even horror films, but these were horror conventions. They were art films, and horror fans love art, and they're fans, and they're smart, and they like meeting creators. So they're very open to giving to creatives.
Absolutely. So what you teach people, so people are watching this in the replayer now, most people seem to have this belief like Kickstarter is this magical place where you just post your wonderful film project, people are just going to flock and give you money, but that's really not true, right?
Yeah, no. Just like it says, it takes 10 years to make an overnight success. It's not an overnight thing. So I'm actually just going to check in with one of my other students. Oh yeah, they're doing good. So this is another one that's going on right now, actually. And they've decided not to use Kickstarter. They are using GoFundMe.
Okay. Yeah, I'd heard about that. Isn't that a little more like cause oriented?
It depends. Like, everybody kind of chooses what they're comfortable with. The main thing is that they start. So they were comfortable with GoFundMe, and GoFundMe makes it super simple. There's nothing complicated about GoFundMe. So they did a video. It's super important to do a video. The percentages of campaigns, you raise more money when you do a video versus just a picture. So a lot of campaigns on GoFundMe, they'll just put a picture up and they won't get as much money. But they put their campaign up just a week, 21 days ago. They've already raised $5,600 of their goal. And this one, it's a storyteller, and he's been doing his this Legend of Sleepy Hollow for years and years and years, collecting fans. So you'll see comments from people who've watched his show every year. And I have actually watched his show live in Sleepy Hollow, in the old place that, near in the graveyard, So it's a real personal connection. And that's why in 21 days, they were able to raise $5,600.
Right.
But they put a lot of work into doing their pitch video right, and making sure their contacts, the MailChimp, the first thing before I tell anybody to even meet with me, I'm like, you better get your contacts organized, because they're people are going to give. But you have to have those organized so you could reach them at timing wise, because it is an event, an online event, but it is an event.
Absolutely. Yes. Very, very intentional. All the qualities that most artists lack are what's needed for successful campaign. That's why, it's just, it's not just a matter of posting your thing and then hoping people. Everyone who contributes has to have a connection with you. Typically, it's very rare that people just go on Kickstarter and say, I want to give money. I'm just going to randomly choose a project, right?
Right. Yeah, that doesn't usually happen.
Right.
So, as another student of mine had a very specific niche movie, a leftist movie, basically about the truth of, her tagline is the truth behind the right-wing media machine that changed a father and the nation. It's called The Brainwashing of My Dad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where's that?
So I'm putting the link. So entry before, so it wasn't her first one. And she raised $40,000. Yeah.
Wow. Now, how did she, for this one, wow, that's a lot. That's crazy. So, and what is this about? It's about her dad turning into a right wing, and then what happened?
Because of the radio, because he was listening to the radio, all his right wing stations. So it was very, very specific, and it was.
So her target person was
behind it.
I'm sorry, what?
There was definitely a cause behind the campaign.
Yeah. So is it mostly like liberal people who were donating?
Yeah. So one of the podcasts that they reached out to was The Daily Cause. And I saw the insights, and because of The Daily Cause, they got $11,000 that they know of that Kickstarter tracked because of that podcast and blog.
Right.
So but it's so targeted that you have to be very specific about the blogs. Like, if that was a right-wing blog and they got hater traffic, they wouldn't really turn that into donations. No. I mean, it's definitely would have been, more,
if it was a YouTube video, they probably would have gotten a lot of negative comments, which would have boosted their ranking. But
Right.
Google, YouTube actually, even if you get bad comments, as long as you're getting comments, they like that. But no, you absolutely have to be targeted when you're doing these things. What would you say? What was the project that you raised the most amount of money for?
Well, I consulted on. I wasn't the manager, but I consulted on, and I got a nice compliment from Adam, the campaign manager of Cheatin'. Throughout that campaign, I was just kind of giving them advice, and I really, because of my documentary, I'd done so much work on the marketing of Bill Plimpton, that this was really a definite result of my efforts, from doing the documentary to jumping on Kickstarter in the first place for finishing funds, to all the marketing conventions, to building the press list. But then one of the big tips that really helped this campaign, which they raised $100,000, was to get influencers to trade with influencer tweets. So they traded tweets basically with other influencers in the area, other independent filmmakers that would have a good following and are also promoting something like a film at the time. So they traded tweets with other influencers, and sometimes that could even be worth $10,000. So
Sure.
If you get Neil Gaiman, one of my friends, they got Neil Gaiman to tweet about her movie. It was up to $10,000. That was in 2010.
Neil who?
Neil Gaiman.
Who's that?
He is an author of American Gods and many other really awesome books. And he's actually one of there's an article, and he's like the biggest influencer of Kickstarter projects.
Oh, wow.
He's like, because of him and his tweets and all that jazz, he's helped raise the most money.
Got it. Yeah, that's awesome. Good work.
That wasn't my idea, but I knew about that very early on. So I was able to use that knowledge to help consult, the other projects.
Absolutely. And what are you working on right now?
Now I'm working on my own film that I'm launching next week. 7 days to go, next Monday, called The Fantastic Santa Monaco. And it's about a group of performance artists who are in Los Angeles, and they're looking for love, connection, significance, and figuring out their creative life and how they can live it.
And how have you been research? That's you have your own fan base, not a horror movie, obviously. How have you been promoting that?
Yeah, so I've been using Thunderclap, which I will also put the link. And building up. Thunderclap is a web application which you can use to get people to join, and then on the launch day, or I like to do it like a little bit after. Because Wednesday is actually the highest day of donations, probably because people are, done their work for the week and really would like to do the weekend.
Yeah, they're done with the work week on the Wednesday.
Yeah. So, so I've been using Thunderclap. So since I've gotten 100 people or 100 accounts to join, then on the Wednesday, which is next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, it will go out to all of those accounts at the same time. So to try to get it trending on Twitter, also for the emotional investment that people have with the film, people will check back in. And I know because I joined somebody else's Thunderclap for a theatrical campaign, that they were doing theatrical screenings. And I've already seen the movie, and I went out and bought 2 tickets and went saw the movie again because I think for the person doing the campaign.
Great.
Because it's a crowdsourcing platform.
So you've been doing the Thunderclap is basically building up a big stockpile of social media attention, and then when it goes live, it's all going to hit at once, and that's when you're going to start opening it up for actual funding.
Yes. Yeah, it's opened up on October 19th for actual funding.
So when it says that on Thunderclap, it says that you've reached 100. It says 166 of 100. I don't. How does that? I can't really show it here, but if anyone clicks over to the Thunderclap site, how do they measure all this? What does social reach 350,000 people mean?
So that means that people with their following, it will reach about that number. It's not exact because not everybody will see it, but that's its potential.
Wow, yeah. And so that's cool. That includes like people's friend lists and everything? So it's like people,
exactly. So
friend.
So it's Facebook friends, because people post on, it will automatically post to their wall, and then Twitter. So they'll count your Twitter, and then Tumblr as well. And some people have big Tumblr accounts as well.
Sure.
You never really know who your Thunderous supporters are.
Right.
And I had people that I didn't even know join, and they're Thunderous supporters. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah. So it's a win-win scenario, and it is free. And then there is upgrades for paid versions. So if you need to change the date, which I needed to do, I had to upgrade $45 to change my date, because Ovation TV changed the date of the campaign. I'm like, all right, well, that's the worst thing. It's still worth way more than a Facebook ad.
Right.
Because it's a third-party endorsement.
No, sure. It's definitely much more of a trusted source. Does a paid membership do anything else, or is it just to be able to make changes to help you more with the reach? Yeah,
there's other levels where you can get the emails of the people who join. So
okay.
So that's
you don't get the leads if you do it this way, huh?
If you do a free version, no.
No, they've gotta feed themselves. It's interesting to see how people do those. How they actually monetize these free social media things. Well, that's awesome. Whatchamacallit? I'm just looking at. It's funny you say that about thunderclapping, because I found boosting things on doing Facebook ads is still pretty awesome, but it is becoming definitely a little more. I think when I started doing this a year or two ago, it was definitely still kind of new, promoting posts and things like that. And now it's a little more crowded of a marketplace. But have you ever done Facebook ads for movies? I mean, I see them for business stuff all the time, but I don't really see them for movie projects.
I've only done boosted posts and things like that in pages for my movies.
And you've done it, but you haven't targeted groups. You've done it mostly for your friends of friends or things like that. Yeah. Interesting. Since I do advertising, like I said, I've promoted a lot of products. I've never promoted I haven't promoted too many movies, so I'm very interested to see how the response is on that. It's a different beast than selling like a sponge or a kitchen cleaner.
Yeah, but I also like to say that, especially with the campaigns, it doesn't really matter about the product. It matters about the person.
That's right. They're buying you. I have found that to be true. No, they really do. Like when we were raising money for our movie, I realized that I don't think we had one investor read the script. They just wanted to be part of what we were doing. Yeah. My last film, nobody read the script. It wasn't even done. so, and we were using a lot of improv, and so there was no script to. Oh, that's hilarious. And what did you rate for that one? I have 49 pages of my script done, so I'm a little better off. That's good. Good for you.
But that's only for my own confidence, not for anybody else.
What else? What did you, and how much did you raise for that other one, the last one?
I raised $12,000.
Wow. What did you guys shoot on?
The Canon 7D.
Okay, so where did your, the 7D is like it's one of those super affordable ones. So what did you spend your budget on?
Well, locations, cast, crew, food.
Yeah, the food.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
costumes.
No, totally. Oh, costumes.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, a little bit of travel. We shot in Florida for a week.
Okay.
But
what?
But really.
No. It's very reasonable. What?
And then I spent $8,000 on marketing, going to the Cannes Film Festival. Going.
Oh wow. Was it in Cannes or
in the market, in the Marché de Film? Okay,
so what happened there?
We made a splash. We showed it to people, and it was basically just part of the marketing campaign.
Okay, so what happens at the Cannes marketing? There's a marketplace at Cannes. Most people don't know about that. So there's the festival where you have to be admitted, and then you can how do you get into the marketplace? Do you have to pay or?
Yeah, you have to pay for your screening and pick a screening time. And I also secured a rep, so they had my poster up in their booth, which was great. It was good placement and all that jazz. So even if only a certain amount of people actually watched the movie, because it didn't have any stars in it and things like that. But then even, my rep put an ad in the Variety. People just seeing that affects my overall, my next movie.
Yeah. So wait, he put an ad in Variety to come check it out.
With the 3 other films that he was repping, the new films that he was repping.
So did you go to see that in? What happened with you said it made a splash. So were there potential buyers or what was the?
There was, but it's still a small movie. So if it was the blue is the warmest color, and there's all this controversy around it, then it would have been better. Or if I made it before blue is the warmest color or something, I don't know. But it is still a small movie for my audience. And so now going into the next book, I want to make sure that I use this one and market it together as a mumblecore film and then do digital distribution.
Absolutely. So you're gonna market it right to your audience.
Yeah.
Rather than going to Cannes. Although going to Cannes for the marketplace is a pretty good notch in your belt. It looks good on paper.
Yeah, and then I also did the Producers Network, which is breakfasts every morning with industry professionals. So each morning you sit at a table with a distributor where exactly the one I should talk to for about my next movie, The Fantastic Santa Monica. So I made a relationship with him and then saw him at a party, and then I just saw him at Outfest in Los Angeles. And, it's kind of like the marketing rule of 7. Maybe he didn't watch my movie because he sent his reps versus him. But the next movie is really where he's going to be more interested because it's going to be
absolutely
a budget movie.
Totally.
But they can see I can do a lot with $12,000. Imagine what I can do with $500,000.
Well, it's interesting. Do you think that producers jump that level? If you did, first of all, did you tell people what the budget was? I was very curious about that because we have a pact with our project. What we're doing is to not get too specific about the budget because I don't
think I did with distributors, but I am very open with my audience. And because I like to inspire others that they could do it too.
Sure. And I know Ed Burns is doing that with all his movies. He's shooting them off for $10,000.
Yeah.
it's still nuts to me that I've seen these film students who are still spending like 50 grand on their shorts.
Yeah.
It's such a terrible use of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it was for my documentary. That was the budget. It was 50 grand, but that was still a feature.
That's a feature. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not a 10-minute like ego boost.
Yeah, no. And I got distribution from that, and that's on Hulu and Vimeo and all that jazz.
Right, and that is called, just for everybody,
Adventures in Platoons. And I raised $10,000 for that one for finishing funds on Kickstarter. Right. That was my first Kickstarter, and I was featured. And then it's on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah. In the US, you can watch it for free, the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
And put a good comment.
No, definitely. And it's about Bill Plimpton. That's really cool. And so do you get a lot of people coming to you after they've already done with the movie and they just need to do some stuff after the fact?
One of my students did. Yeah, he still needed a soundtrack. So, and then let me click up his campaign. Here we go. It was a beatboxer movie, and he was he's pretty awesome, and he does a lot of production, and he's going to be doing another campaign for another.
Yeah, 80 backers to give him $36,000. These success stories. It's incredible because this is not what you usually see especially on the film side of things. Gadgets are usually the one that have the big stories, but raising $36,000 is really awesome. So what was his, who did he go after?
People he knew. People he knew.
That was just friends and family. So when someone raises that much, what is the typical donation? He's not doing like $20 donation.
We don't really know because there, you get it something like that. You get a couple bigger backers, but the average is $70. But even with Boxhead, that the average was literally $100 because it was $330,000. So you can see. So the 170, 100 is usually the average that people give because it's an average. So people give more, some people give less. The main thing is the numbers and the support and people tweeting it. It's a community. People are part of that community. And they want to feel good. I mean, I feel good when I give even $5. So I've given to a lot of campaigns.
Yes. And I think I asked you this before. I was wondering you said you had some projects that were not like cause films or specific, like a regular. That's what I always wondered about Kickstarter. I think I'd asked you this. I said, what if you're just making a movie that's like a comedy or a drama or an action, it's not a cause movie about right-wing politics. It's not about, gay rights. It's not about it's not about a very specific thing. And I think you had said that you had one, which was just like an action movie.
An action movie. Oh, yes. Okay. I got one. It was an action. No, that's not. Where was that? Maybe it wasn't. I don't know if it was on Kickstarter. Yeah, it is. So they did 2 campahains. One, they were doing a documentary, and then they were raising money for their studio in Hollywood. and they're making B movie in Uganda.
What are they making?
B action movies, like B.
Oh, okay.
So they've fundraised for a documentary, which they raised. Oh. And I gave them consultations.
Nice. These guys raised $13,000. Very cool.
Yeah, and before that, they raised 35. Here we go. This is where they raised 35. That was when I first gave them a consultation, and then they raised another 13. So, so one for the documentary, and they got press. I really honed in on press with them.
Let me ask you something. Do you think, was there because I tried doing an Indiegogo campaign, it was quite a few years ago, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And it was before like Facebook was mandatory, you know? It may have been like 2010 or 08 or something. Like Facebook was still kind of new.
Yeah, I think it started in 2000. Indiegogo started in like 2009.
Yeah, it was right when it started. Do you think that it's become easier now, or was it like harder in the beginning? Is like, because everybody now.
It was harder in the beginning. It definitely was. But yeah, my first Indiegogo, I raised a little over $1,000, and I was so surprised because one person gave $1,000, and I like ran down the stairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing works! I'm not just like, because I friended freaking everybody on Indiegogo, and then one random person was like a hater writing some things like, my brother went to film school and you don't know anything and you're trying to make fairies. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, and I actually had to tell the owners, I'm like, how do you get these comments off? Like, what the hell? I was like really turned off by it. And then I got that $1,000, and then a friend of mine raised $10,000 on Kickstarter. The one who got Neil Gaiman to tweet about her campaign. And that's when you still needed an invite. And I gave to her campaign, and she gave me one of her 3 invites. I was so grateful.
You get an invite to be on Kickstarter.
Yeah. So yeah, you can.
Wow, they really knew how to do it, man. Make it exclusive.
Yeah. So, and yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna even get the $10,000. I was towards August, because it was ending at New York Comic Con, which was in October. And towards the end of August, I was just like, because it was 88 days. You could have a 90-day campaign at that time. So I had an 88-day campaign. It was like running a marathon. I was like breaking plates. I was crying. I was just like not in a good space. And then I took a break. I put on a cow outfit. I did a music video.
Wait, what?
Okay, so we took a break.
What you just said. You were in a very bad place, so you took a break. You put on a cow outfit, which is what any sensible person does when they're stressed. You had a bad day at work. The kids are screaming. What do? You put on a cow outfit. It's what doctors prescribe. And
or a princess tiara.
There you go.
And I did a music video for a contest, and we got the audience award, which was $300. And I'm like, wait a minute. And so then I did a couple more, like one with a puppet and me wearing like a Katy Perry, Betty Page wig, and another one like behind bars, and all this just weird stuff to get attention, basically. And then people started giving again, and I was just like, okay, good. And then I printed up cards. Well, and I had cards already printed up, but I handed them out in the cow outfit at New York Comic Con, and also outside my subject, Bill Plimpton's screenings of Idiots and Angels, which was out at the IFC Center at the time. So that helped. And then they featured me because it was New York Comic Con. I went to the Kickstarter party, and they're like, yeah. And this is when they still were on downtown in just a small, kind of apartment type blog with maybe a dozen employees. Now they have a whole building in Brooklyn.
Oh, I'm sure. They're making a ton.
Yeah.
So how many days was your campaign?
88.
That is quite a time.
Yeah.
Well, you're a baller, and I definitely I definitely want to talk to you about this again. I want to get more. I know I had that scheduling error there, but this is such valuable information. Anyone who's watching the replay, this information is worth tens of thousands of dollars, especially if you're out there and you have your movie. If you're not going to investors, if you're trying to do crowdfunding, you absolutely need to get the advice of somebody who knows what they're doing first. You're gonna just blow it if you just try to post it on there and hope people are going to give you money. So, and it sounds like from everyone I've spoken to, even when I talked to Jason Brubaker of filmmaking stuff about not just crowdfunding, but digital distribution, half the battle is just taking the time to learn something. And instead of just throwing it out there and hoping somebody buys it, Yeah.
And also when you're sharing your goal, like after I did the first campaign, I was suggested to submit to a grant that I got from the Tribeca Film Institute. That was $6,500. Then Bill Plimpton did his first campaign and he raised $20,000. And then an investor donated to that project and watched my documentary. He then invested $150,000. And then, they made another move, the Cheatin' and then Revengeance, which raised 90. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's because of crowdfunding.
That's great. Well, look, this has been great, Alexia. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Just basically, I have a free PDF on my website where before you launch PDF, so you can kind of gear up. And feel free to reach out to me on my website, alexianastasio.com, ALEXIA.
Put it down. Put the link down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Alexia, so much. It was great talking to you. And everybody, who's watching this on the replay or, if you've been watching, definitely go to her website, download the PDF and learn the right way to do crowdfunding, and you can raise the money for your movie or your art project.
Yay.
Okay. I'm going to...
Bye.
Bye-bye. I'm going to...